こんにちは。日本語コーチのチェロ先生です。On this video, we will be looking at the script and explanation of the second part of the test ね、問題2。So, let's start.
例、
女の人が店で話しています。サンダルはどこにありますか？すみません。サンダルはどこにありますか？はい。入り口の左の棚です。あ、こっちから見ると逆ですね。あ、そうですか。ありがとう。サンダルはどこにありますか？
はい。So, the answer was number 1. Okay, the scenario was 女の人が店で話しています。The woman is talking at the store. 店で。Right? And the question was サンダルはどこにありますか？ Where are the sandals? ね、サンダルは sandals どこに where ありますか？ are. Okay? So A says, who is the woman with the long hair, right? Most likely the customer, right? She says, すみません。サンダルはどこにありますか？ So, excuse me, where are the sandals? And then the woman behind the counter who works at the store says, はい。入り口の左の棚です。ね。Yes, they are ね at the shelf. 棚 is like the shelf. On the left side of the entrance ね。入り口の左。ね。So they are on from the entrance 入り口。左の、shelf. So they are on the shelf on the left, right? But she says, like, oh, wait. From here, ね、こっちから見ると、if we see from where we are now, meaning that counter at the back, 逆ですね。So 逆 means opposite. So that means that from there, where they look, is not on the left side, but is on the right side, is the right shelf. So that brings us to number 1 as the answer, right? And then the woman says, あ、そうですか. Oh, is that so? ありがとう. Thank you. So this is very confusing because, to be honest with you, I don't know you, but for me, like, where is the entrance? You're not sure if it's here, if it's there, right? And then you have these things on the floor, which most likely there are baskets. I'm not sure what they are. But anyway, I think what saved us in terms of, kind of choosing the most likely to be answer would be the fact that she says, yeah, こちらから見ると逆ですね. So when you look from where they stand, I think that is the clearer position that we can get from this. All right? But it is a tricky one, so if you got it wrong, please don't feel bad about it.
例、
女の人が店で話しています。サンダルはどこにありますか？すみません。サンダルはどこにありますか？はい。入り口の左の棚です。あ、こっちから見ると逆ですね。あ、そうですか。ありがとう。サンダルはどこにありますか？
Let's go to the next one.
1番、
会社で男の人と女の人が話しています。女の人は夏休みにどこへ行きたいと言っていますか？
今年の夏休みはどこかへ行きますか？
去年は海へ行ったけど、今年はまだ決めてないのよ。
海もいいけど、山もいいですよ。僕は山を歩くのが好きなので、景色もいいし。
私は歩くのはあまり好きじゃないけど、子供は連れて行ってあげたいわ。子供と一緒に歩ける山があったら教えてくれない？
ええ、ありますよ。
本当？じゃあ今度教えて。女の人は夏休みにどこへ行きたいと言っていますか？
はい。So, the answer is 1. Okay. Let's look at the scenario. It was 会社で男の人と女の人が話しています。会社で at the company, right, at the workplace, a man and a woman are talking, okay? And the question was, 女の人は夏休みにどこへ行きたいと言っていますか? This is a very long one, to catch. But let's break it down. So, 女の人は the woman, 夏休みに the summer break, 夏休みに for the summer break or during the summer break, どこへ行きたい where wants to go, right? Where does she want to go, the woman? どこへ行きたいと言っていますか is saying. So, translating everything would be, where is the woman saying that she would like to go for her summer vacation, summer break? Okay, a huge one to keep in mind. But when you look at the pictures, it's kind of easy to scan it. So to scan them, so hopefully you would get it. But let's look at the script. The A person says, 今年の夏休みはどこかへ行きますか? So 今年の夏休み is the summer break of this year. So this coming summer break, are you going somewhere? どこかへ行きますか? Are you going somewhere? And then B says, the woman says, 去年は海へ行ったけど、last year, 去年は I went to the beach. 海へ行ったけど、今年は this year, まだ決めてないのよ。I have not decided yet. まだ決めてないよ。ね。のよ。And then, the man says, 海もいいけど、well, the beach is also nice, but 山もいいですよ. So he's suggesting, right? The mountains are also good, And why he's saying that? Because he loves the mountains. He says, 僕は山を歩くのが好きなので、景色もいいし、ね。僕は remembering that 僕 is a male version of 私ね。more casual. 僕は山を歩くのが好きなので、I like to walk on a mountain, right? Or could even be translated as climb a mountain. 景色もいいし、the view, 景色 is also beautiful, right? Meaning, oh, it's also pleasant, because of the view. And then the woman says, 私は歩くのはあまり好きじゃないけど、I don't really like walking. That's what she's saying ね。私は、歩くのは to walk あまり好きじゃない。I don't really like it. けど、but 子供は the children 連れて行ってあげたい。I would like to take my child there, meaning to this experience, to the mountains, right? So the verb te, the form tk, right? The form te of the verb plus agetai is like I want to do the favor of, blah, 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 doing the action of the verb. In this case, like I would like to take my kids there, meaning to give them that experience, all right? And then she continues, 子供と一緒に歩ける山があったら教えてくれない? So if you know, if there is a mountain where you could go and walk with your child, 教えてくれない? Would you tell me? Can you tell me? Could you teach me? That would be the direct translation, but like, would you let me know? Is a better natural translation. So basically, because she's willing to go and take her child there, she's like, well, if you know a mountain that is easy for children to climb, let me know. ね。子供と一緒にis together. Okay? And then the man says, ありますよ. Like, yes. Oh, there are some. ね、ありますよ. And then she says, 本当? Oh, really? じゃあ, okay, in that case, 今度教えて. Teach me next time. Or a natural translation. Tell me next time. Where are these mountains? All right. So this was a difficult one because the question was huge, right? And also the dialogue is quite intense. So let's listen one more time and carefully read along. Let's go.
1番、
会社で男の人と女の人が話しています。女の人は夏休みにどこへ行きたいと言っていますか？
今年の夏休みはどこかへ行きますか？
去年は海へ行ったけど、今年はまだ決めてないのよ。
海もいいけど、山もいいですよ。僕は山を歩くのが好きなので、景色もいいし。
私は歩くのはあまり好きじゃないけど、子供は連れて行ってあげたいわ。子供と一緒に歩ける山があったら教えてくれない？
ええ、ありますよ。
本当？じゃあ今度教えて。女の人は夏休みにどこへ行きたいと言っていますか？
2番、
女の人が電話で話しています。リンさんの部屋はどれですか？あ、リンさん？
ああ、田中さん。今、どこ？
アパートが見えてきた。2階ですよね。
2の203です。同じアパートが2つあるんですよ。壁に2って書いてあります。
リンさんの部屋はどれですか？
Hi, number two, the answer is three. Okay, so let's look at the scenario. The scenario was 女の人が電話で話しています。So the woman is talking over the phone. And the question was リンさんの部屋はどれですか？どれですか？ Which one is リンさんの部屋 The room of リンさん In this case, the apartment of リンさんね。The Mr. Ring. So let's start. They were talking over the phone. So, Ring Sang is basically saying, oh, hey, Ring, right? And then B says, Tanaka-san. Like, oh, Tanaka, ima doko? Where now is the direct translation, but basically it's like, where are you now? Where are you calling from? And then she says, アパートが見えてきた。2階ですよね。She's like, oh, like, oh, well, no, I can see the buildings, the apartment buildings ね。アパートが見えてきた。ね。見えてきた。I'm able to see the buildings already. And then she confirms with him, you are on the second floor, right? Like, 2階ですよね。2階。1階 first floor, 2階 second floor. 2階ですよね。And then he says, 2の203. ね。So, 2の203 is the number of his apartment. ね。He says, 同じアパートが2つあるんですよ。There are two apartment buildings, as we can see the picture, right? And then he says, 壁に2と書いてあります。ね。壁に2って書いてあります。So, on the wall, it's written, 書いてあります。2, number 2. And so we can see, ね。So therefore, we already know our answer, right? That he's on the block 2 and on the second floor. So therefore, it's number 3. The moment that we know that he's on the second floor, then we know it's either number 1 or number 3, right? But let's listen one more time and read along.
2番、
女の人が電話で話しています。リンさんの部屋はどれですか？あ、リンさん？
ああ、田中さん。今、どこ？
アパートが見えてきた。2階ですよね。
2の203です。同じアパートが2つあるんですよ。壁に2って書いてあります。
リンさんの部屋はどれですか？
3番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。女の人の誕生日はいつですか？
ねえ、山下さん。誕生日いつ？
7月8日だけど。
本当？僕も1月4日。同じだね。
同じじゃないでしょ？あなたは1月4日。私は7月8日。
ふーん。
女の人の誕生日はいつですか？
Hi, number 3, the answer was 4. So let's look at the scenario. It was 男の人と女の人が話しています。 The question was, 女の人の誕生日はいつですか? When is the birthday of the woman? ね。女の人の誕生日。誕生日 means birthday. So A says, ね、山下さん、誕生日いつ? ね。He's saying, Yamashita, Miss Yamashita, when is your birthday? ね。誕生日いつ? And as you can notice here, he does not say いつですか? He just says itsu. So this is a very casual way. Most likely we will find out that his Japanese is not very good. So that's probably why they did it, in this way. But remember that we shouldn't really use this kind of netamigo, as we call it, like a very casual Japanese to talk to somebody. Yamashita-san clearly is a Japanese person, right? But anyway, Yamashita-san replies, 7月8日だけど, ne? My birthday is July the 8th, okay? And then A says, 本当? Like, oh, really? 僕も myself as well. 1月4日 is January 4th. And 同じだね. Oh, we have the same birthday ね. 同じ means the same. And then she says, 同じじゃないでしょ? Like, well, it's not the same. And then she corrects him. Like, あなたは you 1月4日. Your birthday is 1月4日ね. And mine, 私は7月8日. Right? So, then we can tell that his Japanese basically is not good enough to tell the difference. And then he says, which is probably he's trying to get into his brain, But if you don't know yet, this is used a lot in Inugo, in a 5-level test. You have to be able to tell the difference between yoka and yoka. Okay, so youka, the one that is elongated, yoka is the 8th, which is her birthday. And yoka with a small tsu, is like yoka, a little pause in between them, is the 4th. Okay, here they're really pushing because he couldn't even get the difference between ichigatsu and shichigatsu. I think that's an easy one, right? Ichigatsu January, shichigatsu is July. But yoka and yoka can be quite tricky actually, So if you are not used to it yet, please practice already before you go take your JLPT test. Let's listen one more time and pay attention to the difference between the yoka and yoka. All right, let's go.
3番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。女の人の誕生日はいつですか？
ねえ、山下さん、誕生日いつ？
7月8日だけど。
本当？僕も1月4日。同じだね。
同じじゃないでしょ？あなたは1月4日。私は7月8日。
ふーん。
女の人の誕生日はいつですか？
4番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。男の人はどうしますか？あ、雨が降ってきましたよ。
雨ですか。困ったな。傘が。
私も傘がないんです。
どうしますか？
タクシーで帰ります。一緒に帰りますか？
そうですね。私はバスがあるから、バスで帰ります。
そうですか。では失礼します。男の人はどうしますか？
Hi, the answer here is number 2. So let's look at the scenario. It was 男の人と女の人が話しています。And the question was 男の人はどうしますか? Right? So a man and a woman are talking. What will the man do? That's an easy one. So the conversation goes, a person says, 雨が降ってきましたよ. Like, oh, it started to rain, right? And then B says, like, really? 雨ですか? Oh, rain. 困 komatta na, like, oh no, komaru is to get into trouble or a situation that is, troublesome, right? So in this case, they even say kasa ga, like, oh no, my umbrella, would be something like that. Because it doesn't say kasa ga nai, but that's the meaning, right? I don't have an umbrella. And then A says, watashi mo kasa ga nai n desu. I also do not have an umbrella, or I didn't bring my umbrella. And then B says, どうしますか? What will we do, right? And then A, the woman says, タクシーで帰ります. I will go home by taxi, right? I will grab a taxi and go home. 帰ります. 一緒に帰りますか? Like, would you like to go with me? Share the taxi with me. 一緒に together. The direct translation here would be, should we go home together, right? But basically the meaning is like, are you getting on a cab with me? On a taxi with me? And then he says, そうですね. Like, oh yeah. But then he says, 私はバスがあるからバスで帰ります.私は have a bus. Now the direct translation here is have a bus, but it means like there is a bus that I can take to go home. So, からバスで帰ります. I will go home by bus. And then she says, そうですか? Oh, is that so? では、失礼します. Well, in that case, bye, right? So, 失礼します here is basically a more, I wouldn't even say formal, but it's just more like a way that we use that we say goodbye for coworkers, like 失礼します, when you are excusing yourself from their presence, right? It's a more business kind of idea, 失礼します. So in this case, basically she's saying goodbye. I'm gonna go on my way, right? But that is the meaning of the では失礼します here. Let's listen one more time and read along.
4番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。男の人はどうしますか？あ、雨が降ってきましたよ。
雨ですか。困ったな。傘が。
私も傘がないんです。
どうしますか？
タクシーで帰ります。一緒に帰りますか？
そうですね。私はバスがあるから、バスで帰ります。
そうですか。では失礼します。男の人はどうしますか？
5番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。女の人はどうしますか？あ、それ読みたかった本。
そうなんですか。全部読んでないけど、面白いですよ。読みますか？
いいんですか？
ええ。読み終わったら貸しますよ。来週まで待ってください。
ええ、もちろん。女の人はどうしますか？
Hi, so let's look at the situation. 男の人と女の人が話しています. So a man and a woman are talking. 女の人はどうしますか? What will the woman do? Right? So A says, あ、それ読みたかった本. Oh, that is the book that I wanted to read, right? それ is more like pointing to the book, right? And then B says, そうなんですか? Oh, is that so? Like you wanted to read. 全部読んでないけど I haven't read everything, but 面白いですよ. It's quite interesting, right? 面白い means interesting and funny. Okay, we don't know. I'm gonna go with interesting here. And then he says, 読みますか? Like, would you read it? Would you like me to, give it to you so you can read it? So basically he's offering to lend the book to her, right? And then she says, いいんですか? Oh, is that okay? Like, would you let me read it? And then he says, yeah, of course. 読み終わったら貸しますよ. I will lend you 貸します after I finish reading ね。読み終わったら. And then 来週まで待ってください. 待ってください. Please wait 来週まで until next week, right? So basically, he's going to finish reading the book by next week and then he's going to give it to her. So she says,もちろん, like, yes, of course, meaning, yes, I will wait for you. So that's why number 2 picture is the best answer, where she's receiving the book. Number 1, it doesn't make sense because she would be buying the book. And number 3, she's giving him a book, which is not the situation. And number 4 is just a random, lining somewhere, right? So yes, number 2 was our answer. Let's listen one more time and read along.
5番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。女の人はどうしますか？あ、それ読みたかった本。
そうなんですか。全部読んでないけど、面白いですよ。読みますか？
いいんですか？
ええ。読み終わったら貸しますよ。来週まで待ってください。
ええ、もちろん。女の人はどうしますか？
6番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。男の人は明日何をしますか？明日は土曜日ですね。
今週は忙しかった。
そうですか。明日も仕事ですか？
いや、明日は休みです。
どこかへ出かけますか？
明日はうちで子供と遊びます。
それはいいですね。男の人は明日何をしますか？
はい、number 6, the answer is 4. Let's look at the situation. 男の人と女の人が話しています。So a man and a woman are talking, and the question was, 男の人は明日何をしますか？ What will the man do? 明日 tomorrow. Okay? So let's look at the conversation. A, the woman says, 明日は土曜日ですね。Tomorrow is Saturday. And then the man says, 今週は忙しかった。This week was very busy. 忙しい is busy. 忙しかった。And then she says, そうですか? Like, oh really? 明日も仕事ですか? Tomorrow, is it work too? Meaning, are you working tomorrow as well? And he says, yep. 明日は休みです。Nope. Tomorrow is day off. It's a holiday, right? 休み is a rest. And then she says, どこかへ出かけますか? Are you going somewhere, right? Like, are you, like, because this is day off. And then he says, 明日はうちで子供と遊びます。Tomorrow I will stay at home. うちで子供と遊びます。Play with the child. In this case, my child, right? And that is what he's doing tomorrow is her answer, right? And then she says, それはいいですね. Oh, that's nice, But yeah, so number 4, we can see he's playing with his son. And that is her answer. Number 3 is wrong because he's just resting. Number 1, he's going on a walk or something. And number 2 is scenario where he would be working, right? So number 4 it is. Let's listen one more time before we move on to our next question.
6番、
男の人と女の人が話しています。男の人は明日何をしますか？明日は土曜日ですね。
今週は忙しかった。
そうですか。明日も仕事ですか？
いや、明日は休みです。
どこかへ出かけますか？
明日はうちで子供と遊びます。
それはいいですね。男の人は明日何をしますか？
7番、
男の人と女の人が旅行の話をしています。バスに乗った後、何をしますか？
来週は少し雨が降るらしいね。
残念。でも旅行に行く日は電車に3時間乗って、その後バスだからあまり外を歩かないでしょ？
いや、バスの後、船に乗るんだよ。船から見る景色が すごくいいらしいから。
でも、雨じゃね。昼ご飯はどこで食べるの？
バスに乗る前に食べようよ。あそこは魚が美味しいから、いい店を探して行ってみよう。
そうね。美味しいもの食べましょう。バスに乗った後、何をしますか？
Hi, and the answer is 4. So let's look at the scenario. It was 男の人と女の人が旅行の話をしています。So a man and a woman are talking about a trip. 旅行の話ね。をしている。話をする also translates as talking about. Okay? 旅行 is traveling or a trip. So a man and a woman are talking about a trip. And the question was, バスに乗った後、何をしますか？ What will they do after, 後 after they get on a bus? バスに乗る is to get on a bus, to ride a bus. 後 Okay, please be careful when you hear this 後 because it's very tricky, and we will see here later how tricky this gets. But the important information that we need to get is what will they do after they get on a bus. All right? So let's go. The A person says, 来週は少し雨が降るらしいね。Next week, a little 少し雨が降る. It will rain. らしい. Rashi is like, it looks like it's going to rain a little bit tomorrow, next week, right? Rashi is like, an information that you heard or you're not 100% sure, but it feels like. It can also be translated as rumor says, kind of. In this case, we're talking about the weather. So, the weather is quite unpredictable. So it could change, right? But as per now, it looks like it's going to rain a little bit. And then B, the woman says, 残念. Oh, is that so? That's bad, right? 残念 is like, bad or horrible, terrible. But in this case, it would be like, oh, that's bad, right? And then she says, でも、旅行に行く日は but the day that we go on a trip, 旅行に行く日は、電車に3時間乗って、we will get on a train for 3 hours. We will be on a train for 3 hours. 電車に3時間乗って、その後、after that, after the train, バスだから、we will be on a bus だから、so, あまり外を歩かないでしょ? We are not gonna really be walking outside. でしょ? No? Right? So that's what she's saying here. Meaning that it's not a big deal that it's gonna be raining. But the man says, いや、バスの後、船に乗るんだよ。ね? This is her answer if you are able to catch the バスの後ね, after the bus. It's like, yeah here means like, no, right? After the bus, バスの後、船に乗るんだよ。ね? We will be getting on a boat, which is number 4, they are on a boat, right? 船から見る景色がすごくいいらしい。Keshiki is the view. So the view that we can see from the boat, from the ship, is very beautiful. So I heard. Nerashi again. So I heard. So that's why he is not happy that it's gonna rain, right? And then the woman says, でも、雨じゃね. Like, oh, but it's gonna be raining. And then she changed the subject actually. 昼ご飯はどこで食べるの? Where are we having lunch? ね? どこで食べるの? Where are we eating? 昼ご飯 lunch. And then the man says, バスに乗る前に食べようよ. Let's eat before we get on the bus. So you see, this is very tricky because it's バスの後, because バスの後, バスに乗る前に, before, right? It's just to make it tricky. But yeah, he's just saying, well, before we get on a bus, バスに乗る前に食べようよ. Let's have lunch. ね? Let's eat. あそこは魚が美味しいからね。There, meaning the destination, fish is delicious. So, いい店を探して行ってみましょう. Let's look, research and look and go for, a good, お店 here means restaurant, right? To a nice restaurant where they can eat the fish. Okay? And the woman says, そうね、美味しいものを食べましょう. Like, oh yeah, let's have something delicious. But yeah, it's a long one, isn't it? And I think this is maybe one of the hardest from this test. It's too long, and also the mai and ato, it can get quite tricky. But I hope you got the idea. But let's listen one more time and pay close attention to the conversation. All right, let's go.
7番。
男の人と女の人が旅行の話をしています。バスに乗った後、何をしますか？
来週は少し雨が降るらしいね。
残念。でも旅行に行く日は電車に3時間乗って、その後バスだからあまり外を歩かないでしょ？
いや、バスの後、船に乗るんだよ。船から見る景色がすごくいいらしいから。
でも雨じゃね。昼ご飯はどこで食べるの？
バスに乗る前に食べようよ。あそこは魚が美味しいから、いい店を探して行ってみよう。
そうね。美味しいもの食べましょう。バスに乗った後、何をしますか？
Hi, and this is the end of 問題2, the second part of the listening test. お疲れ様でした。I hope you liked this video and it was helpful, the explanation and the scripts. And I will see you on the next video. Alright? それではまた。バイバイ。